That's right. Welcome back to Jeff Kenanga Live here at Citizen Television. Jeff Kenanga Live is powered by Johnny Walker, exhibiting its eminence in electrifying quality and celebrating 200 years of blended Scotch excellence. Right before the break, Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Farida Karoney, challenged me, go to rdisasa.lands.go.ke.
Yes.
I'm there.
What do you see?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Digitisation is an online platform that allows citizens, stakeholders, and interested parties to interact with land information held and processes undertaken by government. And then it says, search property, transfer property, order a plan, order a title.
Those are now our services.
Okay, so if we go to the magic wall real quick, and you can see it on the screens right now, if you go to rdisasa.lands.go.ke, go to that, and you see that. Yeah. That's the title page. First thing you do is?
Register.
As in put your name or your ID?
Yes, your name, your ID number, and then it will record your credentials in the system, because this system will not allow you to transact if you're not a registered user. So the first thing you do when you get on the platform is to register. That is the first thing that you do. Once you are registered, then you're now ready to transact whichever service you want, if your title is online. It's
like going to eGov for your passports and driver's license and all that, right?
Exactly.
So you register, okay, and then search property, transfer, order, whatever it is.
Yes.
And this little sign here on the bottom right says, we are here, means what?
That is our customer support service. It's live, actually. If you want a service now, you can actually engage them.
Now, as in right now?
Yes, as in now. We are running for the first about 90 days. We'll run a 24-hour shift, because we anticipate that our customers will have a lot of issues, a lot of concerns, and a lot of problems trying to understand or navigating around our platform. So we have a day shift and a night shift. So if you have a concern, Jeff, you can actually chat with the customer care service.
For 24 hours?
Yes.
How long has this taken to put together?
To build this platform and to do the data cleaning, it's been 3 years. We started the project in February of 2018.
So basically, you've broken the cartels. You're breaking them, or you've broken them.
We intend to.
That's tough.
Because with this system, you don't need a middleman. Because as a landowner, you don't need anyone to transact in your property. Maybe you need your lawyer, but you don't need somebody to help you along, unless you're a customer who cannot read and write. And even then, we have a customer support service for people who cannot read or write. So you don't need in-betweens to transact in your property, not at all.
You know, what you're saying is, you're going to be the most wanted person in this country for the wrong reasons.
Why is that?
If you break the cartels, they'll come after you, Farida.
Jeff, you have to appreciate what was happening in the sector. As I said before, in the Ministry of Lands, every Kenyan has experienced, and not in a positive way. Many of the people who come there, who actually give us a bad name, are people who make our files disappear, people who make customers wait 5-10 years. There's a customer who told me they had waited 10 years to get a title document. And there was really nothing wrong with their paperwork. It's just a matter of processes, bureaucracies, people feeling that you have to gatekeep, and brokers standing at the gate and telling you, you want a quick service, leta kitu kidogo nikutengeneze chap chap. That will no longer be necessary, because on this platform, all the land information is in this system. So you don't need anyone to tell you where's the survey plan, where's the PDP, where's your valuation record, where's your registration data, because it's all on the platform.
My goodness. Okay, if I have an LR number right now, or those with LR numbers, are those going to change once the system is digitized?
Now, this is the thing, Jeff. Nairobi has 2 registries. We have the Nairobi registry itself. That one is compliant with the Land Registration Act. It is what we took live yesterday when the president launched the system. Then we have a registry called the Central Registry, where the LR applies. So we need to move that to the land registration regime, and that is how we are doing the title conversion process. Because this system has been built to comply with the law. The law that recognizes registration of rights to land is the Land Registration Act. So we are going to close all the old registers under the different regimes of registration and collapse them into the Land Registration Act. So the Central Registry, which is where your LR will fall, will come on board in May, because we will start the process of conversion. So we'll convert as we digitalize.
Have you started with just Nairobi, or is this all countrywide?
No, Nairobi. Nairobi is the first county. We are moving next to the metropolitan area, the counties of Kajiado, Kiambu, Machakos, and Murang'a. And then by the end of the year, we hope to have scaled it up to about 20 counties. So why it's going to be that quick, you might be asking, it took you 3 years to do this. How are you going to do 20 counties in, what, 6, 7 months? We are going to run concurrent teams in the different counties because we have built everything we need to do for the national rollout. All we will be doing in these counties is managing the data. So it's easier to quickly scale up.
Okay, so Kenyans being Kenyans, they always ask this question, what's to stop hackers from breaking into this system? Because, you know, it's all digital now. If they can break into a bank and siphon millions, what's to stop them from breaking into this one?
Jeff, do you keep your money in your house?
No.
You keep it in the bank, right?
Right.
And you trust that the system will be safe and secure.
Yes.
So I want to tell you this system is probably safer than the banking system. Because it's taken us 1.5 years to build. We've put the best brains in the country to do it. Kenyans, by the way, young Kenyan people, over the last from July of 2019, have been building, testing, doing penetration tests. And you can be sure, Jeff, if it wasn't secure, by now it would be down. You know that. Because somebody would be trying to break in. Yeah. But they haven't been able to. Why is that? We've built very rigorous security protocols into this system. We have inbuilt firewalls, we have access level controls, we have identity mapping. So you can't just walk into the system, Jeff. Because the reason why we ask you to register is identity mapping. We have integrated this system with the IPRS, Registry of Persons and Deaths, Business Registration Services, KRA, all the databases of government that have your personal data are integrated to this system. So the moment you log on with your ID, automatically we collect all your related identity details and we are able to map that is indeed Jeff Koinange logging onto the system. And whatever you perform on the system, we will know it's you, Jeff.
In real time? In
real time, yes. So hacking, people will try, but I don't think they will be successful.
So when you launched this live, or when the president launched it, was it nerve-wracking? Did you think, oh my goodness, you know, this thing could hang?
Jeff, in the same way you still feel nervous when you say Jeff Koinange Live. Yes. It's always nerve-wracking when it's big. This is really big, Jeff. I don't think Kenyans appreciate the scope of the reform. It's a very, very deep reform in the sense that everything that was wrong in the sector is now being brought into sharp focus. Anything you do as a landowner, as an officer of government, as a professional in the sector is an audit trail on the system. So it's not possible for you to play monkey. That is the level of transparency we have brought to the sector. So it's not going to be easy to try and monkey around. It's difficult. So for the people who are used to monkey business, it will be very difficult for them to operate in this platform.
You know, I just noticed that this is your very first interview since you were appointed Cabinet Secretary. You know that, right?
Yes, largely, yes.
And I just thought of this as well. The reason why is, you had to come out and, you know, talk about something that you're sure of. I mean, you just wouldn't come out and talk about, okay, land this, land that. You had to be sure. That's what I'm thinking.
I think, Jeff, in the process of building the system, we needed space. We needed to give our team space to concentrate. Because as you can imagine, we built a homegrown system. We are starting from scratch because we have scoped the system to recognize our unique problems as a country. So it's not a quick fix solution. It's a system. We analyzed our problems, categorized the issues, and then we decided to build the system. So our teams needed that space to focus on creating the system. And that is why, as the leaders, we had to step back to allow them the space to build the platform that we required. In any case, what did you want us to come and say, Jeff? It is now we can tell you we have this platform, please enjoy it. But when we're building, we wanted to give these teams sufficient leverage and space for them to exercise their technical expertise, their creativity, and to deploy the best they have in them to build a system for this country, which we shall all be proud of.
And the question is, what's to stop it from being overloaded? Because a lot of Kenyans now are probably, as we speak, logging into adisasa.lands.go.ke. They're logging in right now. What's to stop it from crashing or hanging?
Jeff, we have built sufficient computing power and power backup to run a small city. It is unlikely that they will be able to crash it. Very unlikely.
The same confidence you had in the newsroom is what you're exuding now, is that it?
Yes, it is. Because, Jeff, I mean, we've worked with this thing for the last 3 years. We are testing it every day. Even now, as we speak, we are still testing it. We are testing it for robustness, for capacity to withstand pressure, penetration. There's all manner of tests we are doing, Jeff. So I can speak with confidence because I've worked with these teams and I know that they've done a good job. they've really built, what can I say, maybe the Mercedes of deployment platforms. It's just for us now as Kenyans, the landowners, the drivers, to put in there the data that is good enough to be transacted in this system. And as you will see, Jeff, as the consumers come on board, one of the biggest challenges we are having is the quality of the data, the integrity of the data. Because as I said, just over the last 60 years, we've really played monkey in this sector. So the issue we have at the moment is really identifying and profiling genuine landowners. And that is why this project has taken us very long. Because what we are doing, Jeff, every single file, we were going through every single sheet of paper, comparing 5 sets of data: the survey data, the planning data, valuation data, land administration data, and registration data. Because we wanted to be sure the owners in these 5 documents are the same. In some cases, we have found that they don't tally. And in these cases, this kind of data will not be in this platform, because we are only allowing live transactions for data we have tested for 3 elements, Jeff: for accuracy, for completeness, and for integrity. If it lacks those 3 components, it will not be on this platform. But it is not, it's not to worry, because what we are doing, we are going to work with the landowners. If, for instance, you log onto the platform and you find that your land parcel is not available for transaction, that's why we have a 24-hour support service, so that we will give you a ticket. You will log onto the system and say, I'm logging in, I can't see my property. What do I do? We will give you a ticket and we'll invite you to the ministry, so that we run with you through your paperwork and see whether it is complete or whether it is accurate, and then we can upload it.
Okay, some properties are owned by more than one person. What happens to those? Let's say 3 people own a piece of property. How does that work?
Joint ownership?
Yes.
Yeah, it will be on the system, because the law allows joint ownership of property. So the property will be there on the system. You, the owners, will be joint owners or co-owners. So it will be on the system. The only thing that will not be on the system, Jeff, is something whose integrity we doubt, whether the data is not complete or it is not even valid. Those are the kinds of land parcels that will not be on this platform. But if your data is accurate, it's complete, and it has integrity, it will be on the platform, Jeff. Then there's another set of data, Jeff, that will not be on the platform. And these are sectional properties. Sectional properties are apartments. All of you in the middle class, you will know about apartments. Prior to 2020, when the president signed into law the Sectional Properties Act, the ministry or government registered sectional properties using a law that should not have been applied, the Registration of Documents Act. It means when you come to this platform, you'll not be able to transact, because this platform has been built to comply with laws to do with land registration. It has also been built to recognize geospatial data. Geospatial data is basically data in relation to space. Why are we doing this? We are saying, if you have a title, it has to have land on the ground. Jeff, it's like coordinates when you're flying. The coordinates will take you to the location you're flying to. The geospatial data will take you to your parcel of land. So we are saying, if your parcel of land is, for instance, this place, it should point you here. So you cannot have a title deed if you don't have land on the ground. And that is why for sectional properties which are not properly registered, we are saying they will not be on the platform. But to the customers, don't worry, at the cost of government, we are going to regularize, which means what we are going to work with the landowners to survey them so that we create geospatial data. You see, even an apartment building sits on a piece of land.
Right.
So that is the geospatial data that we want to create. And we'll work with our customers to create this data, and subsequently, this data will come back on the platform.
And the customer will have a title for apartment 10 or whatever it is.
The Sectional Properties Act, it does 2 things which were not previously possible. First, it allows you as an apartment owner to own a title to your own apartment. So it recognizes that apartment as if it were land. Secondly, it gives you reversionary interest. Before that law came into force, the developer would hold the mother title, the title to the entire parcel of land. And what would some of them do? Go to the bank, take out a loan, and you're sitting in your apartment thinking you own the apartment. If they default, what happens? Your apartment is sitting on that parcel of land. It can very easily be sold. So that law has cured that problem. If you own an apartment, you get a title. And upon registration of the sectional plans are the plans that now create the apartments. Once we register that sectional plan as a ministry, we automatically cancel the mother title. So nobody is available to play monkey with it. and you, the individual owner, can then transact in your own property. So those properties, now the sectional units, what we are now doing is bringing them on board the Sectional Properties Act of 2020. And we are saying we will do it at the cost of government, because the mistake in the first place was the mistake of government. We registered them using the wrong law. So we need to bring them to the correct legal framework. And we will work with our customers to do that. It will take time. There are many sectional units in Nairobi, as you know. So it will take us time to survey all of them and bring them to the platform. But for a customer, if you have a transaction you want to do, even if your apartment is not on the platform, there's something we are calling on-demand ingestion. If you come, let's say you want to charge your apartment, and then we tell you, sorry, it's not on the platform. However, as government, we can give you a surveyor. We survey the entire apartment block, create the geospatial data that we are looking for, and allow you to transact.
Who's going to pay for that?
Government. The government is going to do it. Because initially, we should not have accepted to register apartments that don't have sectional plans, but we did. So it is not the fault of the customer that these apartments are not properly registered. So the government will take on that cost and regularize the sectional units.
Wow. What about squatters who got together, bought a large piece of land, and were promised titles, and they never got them? But they put in money and were part of a committee, let's say, that bought a large piece of land, but they never got titles.
Did they buy the land legally, Jeff, or what happened? Because if you bought it legally, you should get title.
Each person gets their own title?
Yeah, you just subdivide the land, and let's say we were 500 members, and we bought 500 acres. So we just subdivide the lands amongst ourselves, and everybody gets their own title.
What if one person walked away with the main title and left them in the cold?
Now, that's where the problem is. You see, we are saying, Jeff, as a landowner, you also have a responsibility. Because in the past, before the digital platform, it was easy to be cheated. But with this platform, nobody can cheat you, Jeff. Because you know your rights as a citizen, you have your land details, you come on the platform. If you want to do a subdivision, you request, it's a service on the platform. If you want to do amalgamation is combining several parcels of land. You do an application on the platform, Jeff. So the first thing you should do as a landowner, proprietor buying land, due diligence. There are many Kenyans who get conned into buying non-existent land, what the president was talking about yesterday. Unanunua shamba and then una realize, actually nilinunua hewa, because you did not do proper due diligence. This system allows you to do proper due diligence because it allows you to look at all the documents to do with that parcel of land. You can look at the survey plan, you can look at the planning document, you can look at the valuation reports, you can look at the registration documents. So if you're wanting to buy something, the information is all in the system. The other thing the cadastre has done, cadastre is just a combination of maps for the city, has done. As a landowner, you can actually overlay satellite imagery. So if you want to buy a parcel, for instance, you can tell, where is this parcel? What is there development on it or not? What is happening on the ground? So it's very easy using this platform to make a decision that is the correct decision, Jeff.
What if it's already happened? I mean, someone's bought a piece of land.
Yes.
You got a title. You find out someone else has the same title in their name.
So what we are trying to do with this platform, Jeff, it is true there are many cases of double registration where you find the same parcel of land has more than one title.
Yeah.
Those are the parcels that will be missing on this platform when you try to check. Because the thing that we are trying to do is interrogate all these data sets in order to establish the legitimate owner. Because there can only be one legitimate owner to a parcel of land. One parcel of land cannot be owned by more than one person. So collating our documents and putting them together, we should be able to tell that this document or this land properly belongs to Jeff or Farida. And then the rightful owner will eventually be uploaded on the system. So those are these double registrations, those are the ones we are taking aside, and we are saying we'll come back to them and assess them until we know who is the true owner of this parcel of land. Once we establish the true owner, the fake ones will just take them out of the system.
What happens to all those files that are on the floor at RD House? I've been there a few times, and all I saw was files on the floor.
Were on the floor, Jeff.
Yeah, where?
They're no longer on the floor because we had to scan them, digitize them. Now we are arranging them back into racks. But you don't need them anyway because your data is now on the system, on the platform, at least in Nairobi. So eventually what we will do as government, the physical file will be available, but it will not be in use. Because as we said yesterday, effective yesterday, for the Nairobi registry, we are not accepting any paper. So if you want any transaction with us, you apply, you go online. This is a web-based platform. You sit on your computer, on your phone, smartphone, and you apply for whichever service. If you have documents, you can upload them. But please don't bring them to the ministry.
No.
Because we will not be accepting them. The only registry that is still partially manual is what I call the central registry, because we are in the process of conversion of title to the right registration regime. When we finish the conversion process, it will also come online, and by the end of May, early June, the entire city of Nairobi will be available digitally.
Wow, it's incredible. Go to Ardisasa rather.
Yes.
ardisasa.lands.go.ke.
Okay, yes.
ardisasa.lands.go.ke. It's happening in real time, folks. My goodness, who would have thought in our lifetime we would see that?
It's possible.
It's possible?
And it's happening.
Wow. What else are you going to fix after Lands? What can you fix?
No, Lands will take time to fix.
Okay.
So we are still fixing it, Jeff.
Lots of questions coming in thick and fast.
I'm happy to take them on.
I will do that. Let's do that after the break. I mean, there's so many. Good Lord. But a lot of people are saying you're doing a great job, by the way. A lot of people loving what you're doing, and they congratulate you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's come back to your questions. Plenty of them coming in thick and fast.
Thank you.
For Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Farida Karoney. My goodness, from the edit room or the edit newsroom
to Lands.
To Lands. FK on JK Live. Back in a moment.
Thank you.